A nation divided, the Hunter Biden pardon. President Biden's decision to pardon his son, Hunter, has ignited a firestorm of controversy, sending shockwaves through the political landscape. This decision has further divided an already polarized nation, with citizens and politicians alike taking strong stances on either side of the issue. The pardon, announced on insert date, immediately sparked outrage from Republicans who have long been critical of the Biden administration. Surprisingly, it even drew criticism from some Democrats who expressed concerns about the implications of such a move. At the heart of the issue lies a deep-seated concern about potential abuse of power and the erosion of trust in the American justice system. Many fear that this act could undermine the principles of fairness and accountability that are supposed to be the bedrock of the legal system. This unprecedented act raises profound questions about fairness, accountability, and the rule of law, challenging the very foundations of American democracy. The pardon, encompassing all potential federal offenses Hunter may have committed between 2014 and 2024, has been deemed overly broad by legal scholars. Legal experts argue that such a sweeping pardon is unprecedented and could have far-reaching consequences for the justice system. Critics argue that it sets a dangerous precedent, potentially shielding individuals with powerful connections from facing the full consequences of their actions. This has led to the widespread calls for greater transparency and accountability in the use of presidential pardons. The timing of the pardon, just weeks before the 2024 presidential election, has also fueled suspicion, with many questioning whether it was a calculated political move. As the nation heads into a critical election period, the Hunter Biden pardon remains a contentious issue, with its implications likely to reverberate for years to come.
Deconstructing the pardon scope and immediate impact. President Biden's pardon of Hunter Biden is notable for its expansive scope. It covers a wide range of potential offenses, effectively shielding Hunter from any federal charges related to his past business dealings, tax issues, and gun possession. This broad protection has raised concerns among legal experts who argue that it goes beyond the traditional use of presidential pardons. The immediate legal impact of the pardon is clear. Hunter Biden is now immune from federal prosecution for any crimes covered under the pardon. This means that ongoing investigations into his business activities and tax affairs have come to an abrupt halt. The pardon also eliminates the possibility of future federal charges stemming from these matters.
The Biden family business allegations and evidence. At the core of the Hunter Biden controversy are allegations of corruption and influence peddling related to his overseas business dealings, particularly in Ukraine and China. Critics allege that Hunter leveraged his father's position as vice president to secure lucrative business deals, potentially enriching the Biden family. These allegations have been the subject of intense scrutiny, congressional investigations, and media coverage. Evidence presented thus far has been largely circumstantial, consisting primarily of emails and financial records obtained from a laptop purportedly belonging to Hunter Biden. While the authenticity of these materials has been a point of contention, they have fueled suspicions of wrongdoing. The extent to which President Biden was aware of or involved in his son's business activities remains a subject of debate.
Political fallout, impeachment, and the 2024 election. The political fallout from the Hunter Biden pardon has been swift and severe, with Republicans accusing President Biden of abusing his power to protect his son. The pardon has further inflamed partisan tensions and fueled calls for impeachment proceedings against the president. While it remains uncertain whether such efforts will gain traction, the scandal has undoubtedly damaged Biden's standing and cast a shadow over his presidency. The pardon's impact on the 2024 election is yet to be fully determined, but it is likely to be a major campaign issue. Republicans are already seizing on the controversy, portraying Biden as corrupt and unfit for office. The scandal could energize the Republican base and potentially sway independent voters who are concerned about ethics and accountability.
Section 5. A new sheriff in town. Republican response to the pardon. The Republican response to the Hunter Biden pardon has been swift and forceful. The news of the pardon has sent shockwaves through the political landscape, igniting a firestorm of criticism from Republican leaders and conservative commentators alike. Republican lawmakers have condemned the pardon as an abuse of power and a blatant attempt to obstruct justice. They argue that this move undermines the rule of law and sets a dangerous precedent for future administrations. Some have called for the appointment of a special counsel to investigate the Biden family's business dealings, believing that an independent investigation is necessary to uncover the truth and hold those responsible accountable. Meanwhile, others have demanded congressional hearings to examine the circumstances surrounding the pardon. They want to scrutinize every detail and ensure that justice is served. The Republican-controlled House of Representatives is now poised to launch a series of investigations into the Biden administration, with a particular focus on Hunter Biden's business dealings and the president's potential involvement. These investigations are expected to be thorough and far-reaching. With a particular focus on Hunter Biden's business dealings and the president's potential involvement, Republicans are determined to leave no stone unturned. They believe that the American people deserve transparency and accountability from their leaders. These investigations could lead to further revelations and potentially uncover evidence of wrongdoing. The stakes are high, and the outcome of these inquiries could have significant implications for the Biden administration. However, it remains to be seen whether these efforts will result in concrete action or simply serve to further inflame partisan divisions. The political landscape is already deeply polarized, and this latest controversy is likely to intensify the existing tensions.
Section 6. Eroding Trust. The pardon's impact on justice and governance. Beyond the immediate political implications, the Hunter Biden pardon has raised broader concerns about the erosion of trust in American institutions. Critics argue that the pardon undermines the principle of equal justice under the law, suggesting that there is one set of rules for the powerful and another for everyone else. This perception of a two-tiered system of justice could further erode public confidence in the legal system and government as a whole. The pardon also raises questions about the appropriate use of presidential power. Article 2 of the Constitution grants the president broad pardon power, but this power is not unlimited. Critics argue that President Biden's use of the pardon in this case sets a dangerous precedent, potentially emboldening future presidents to abuse their power for personal or political gain. The implications of this are far-reaching. If the public perceives that the highest office in the land can be used to shield allies from legal consequences, it could lead to a significant decline in civic engagement and voter turnout. People may feel that their votes and voices do not matter if the rules can be bent for the influential. Furthermore, the international community is watching closely. The United States has long been seen as a beacon of democracy and rule of law. Actions that appear to compromise these principles could weaken America's standing on the global stage. Allies and adversaries alike may question the integrity of U.S. governance, potentially affecting diplomatic relations and international cooperation. In conclusion, while the pardon may have resolved a specific legal issue, its broader impact on justice and governance is profound and multifaceted. It serves as a reminder of the delicate balance between power and accountability in a democratic society. The ongoing debate will likely shape public discourse and policy for years to come, highlighting the need for vigilance in preserving the principles of justice and equality. Only time will tell how this chapter in American history will be remembered, but its lessons are already resonating across the nation.
Section 7. Rebuilding Trust. Calls for Reform and Transparency. In the wake of the Hunter Biden pardon, there have been renewed calls for reform and transparency in the pardon process. Some legal experts have proposed limiting the president's pardon power, arguing that it is too broad and susceptible to abuse. Others have advocated for greater transparency in the pardon process, requiring presidents to provide justification for their decisions and making pardon records more accessible to the public. Beyond the pardon process itself, there is a growing consensus that addressing the underlying issues of corruption and influence peddling in Washington requires systemic change. This includes strengthening ethics laws, increasing transparency in government, and fostering a culture of accountability among elected officials.
Section 8. The power of pardon, a double-edged sword. The power of the pardon is a double-edged sword capable of both righting wrongs and shielding the guilty. While it is an essential tool for tempering the harsh realities of the justice system, it can also be easily abused. The Hunter Biden pardon serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences when this power is wielded without restraint or accountability. History is replete with examples of both the judicious and the questionable use of presidential pardons. From President Ford's pardon of Richard Nixon to President Clinton's pardon of Mark Rich, these acts have often sparked controversy and raised questions about the limits of executive power. The Hunter Biden pardon adds another chapter to this complex and often contentious history. Section 9. The future of American democracy, a crossroads of accountability. The Hunter Biden pardon stands as a defining moment for American democracy, testing the very foundations of justice, accountability, and public trust. The outcome of this saga will have far-reaching implications, shaping not only the Biden presidency but also the future of American governance. The path forward requires a collective commitment to upholding the rule of law, regardless of political affiliation or personal connections. It demands a renewed focus on transparency, accountability, and ethical conduct from our elected officials. Ultimately, the strength of American democracy rests on the vigilance of its citizens and their unwavering demand for a government that serves the people, not the powerful.